What if Kirito was actually evil? Kirito has always been known as the strong, stoic black swordsman that is willing to do anything to protect his friends. But what if he was a complete psychopath instead? I decided to rewrite the Aincrad arc of Sword Art Online to show what a hypothetical version of an evil Kirito could have looked like, and the deeper, darker thoughts Kirito could have actually had buried deep down inside him. In episode 1, when everyone finds out that they are stuck in the game, and the only way out is to beat the game, Kirito immediately isolates himself from the other players. Not because he's a solo player, but to gather supplies so that the others can't have it. As a beta tester, he already knows enemy patterns, hidden mechanics, and optimal builds. While others fear death, Kirito sees opportunity. He intentionally spreads misinformation about beta testers being selfish, not to protect himself, but to isolate himself. In episode 2, at the first boss raid meeting, Kirito intentionally provokes hatred, branding himself a beater. Why? Because if everyone hates him, no one will question his actions. Kirito lets one of the most powerful members die, not because he couldn't help, but because he was becoming a leader, and leaders are threats. In episode 3, Kirito joins the Moonlit Black Cats Guild, not to help them or be part of a team, but to study human emotions inside of the game, and see how he can use their fear to his advantage. Even though he knows the trap room is coming, he stays silent, only protecting himself, while knowing he could have saved them. This is Kirito's way of seeing how much guilt he can feel before feeling nothing at all. But when the guild dies, he doesn't break, he learns. Episode 4. Kirito meets a small girl named Silica, who is trying to find a rare item to revive her pet. Kirito realizes this item could potentially be used to revive himself, so he befriends her and pretends to help her find the rare item, only to end up stealing the rare item for himself, causing Silica's pet to die. Episode 5 and 6. Kirito ends up joining the Knights of the Blood Oath under a new identity. He takes on the illusion of a protector, when in reality, he's just looking to steal items from the high-level players that are part of the guild. It is revealed that a player in the game has been player killing, but instead of helping, Kirito stands from afar and watches, because he wants to learn the ins and outs of how to kill without consequences. Safe zones, delays, exploits. By the end of the episode, Kirito knows something no one else does. Even the system can't be bent, and one day it will break. Episode 7. Kirito meets a blacksmith named Lisbeth, who he ends up manipulating to help him make a powerful new sword. Lisbeth quickly develops a deep affection for Kirito, which Kirito promises that he'll go on a date with her if she helps him find a material he needs for his sword. The material is locked in the mountain and it's gonna be a long journey, and she needs to go along with him, because the only one who can retrieve the material is the blacksmith. Along the way, Kirito puts on a fake romantic persona to go along with his plan, to make sure Lisbeth does a good job when it comes time to making the sword. When the sword is finally made, Kirito bolts, and Lisbeth is left alone to cry. Episode 8. Kirito teams up with a girl from the Knights of the Blood Oath, who is referred to as Asuna. She is one of the top members of the guild, and to take them down, he needs to get closer to her. To build trust, Kirito protects Asuna, showing his loyalty to her and the guild, which she quickly forms a connection to him, while not knowing this whole time that she is just being used. Episode 9. Kirito intentionally lets more and more players die in boss fights, while trying not to let the other players in the game catch on to him. He uses his brand new dual blade ability, which he had stolen from a previous player that he let die. He uses the dual blade ability against Gleam Eyes, saving the day along with everyone's lives, but most importantly, now having everyone's deepest trust. Episode 10. Kirito encounters Laughing Coffin for the second time, but instead of trying to fight them, Kirito teams up with one of the other members, which they end up killing one of the top commanders from the Knights of the Blood Oath. Episode 11. Kirito and Asuna's relationship grows deeper. Asuna still has no idea of Kirito's evil intents, and that he had just joined alongside Laughing Coffin. Later, when they're out for a walk in the forest, they encounter a small, mysterious girl that appears to be lost, which Asuna suggests that they bring her home. Kirito is hesitant, but realizes he can use her as leverage over Asuna, so he agrees to go along with it. Episode 12. When Yui is actually revealed to be an AI, this gives Kirito proof that emotions can be simulated, and if emotions are fake, then that means that guilt itself is optional. When Yui is deleted, Kirito doesn't cry. He records Yui's data to study and learn from. And when Asuna asks Kirito what he was trying to do with the control panel, he lies and says he tried saving her, but ended up failing. Episode 13. Asuna continues to grow a deeper connection to Kirito, relying on him more and more each day. She tells Kirito about how scared she is, and that she is afraid that they won't make it back to the real world. This gives Kirito a deep insight into Asuna's feelings, and makes him realize that he can use these feelings to his advantage. He realizes he can make her take risks that he doesn't want to do, such as being the first to attack bosses on higher floors, or getting loot from certain areas that he isn't certain are safe. Episode 14. Kirito discovers Heathcliff is actually Kayaba. He fights him and says that he wants to be the game master of Sword Art Online, and if he wins, Kayaba has to hand over administration privileges and make him the new master. Everyone in the game gasps. All the guild members start yelling at Kirito for betraying them. They start to fight, but in his final moment, he hesitates. He's not sure if he actually wants to stay in this virtual world, but part of him wonders, if this world ends, who am I without it? Kirito ends up winning the fight, but instead of him winning and becoming game master, the game crashes and SAO is cleared. Kirito, along with the remaining players, awaken in the real world. Bonus ending. The remaining players that survive end up reporting Kirito to the police for being a murderer. Kirito is forced into court and is held on trial, and after about a month-long trial, Kirito is sentenced to 30 years in prison. Now, about 5 months into his sentence, Asuna comes to visit him, and when Kirito asks what she's doing here, she pulls out a little blue crystal, the crystal that he had saved Yui's data to. She tells him that Yui is safe and has been restored. She plugs Yui's data into her holographic watch, and tells Kirito that she wanted him to see his daughter for one last time. Kirito breaks down crying, and the screen fades to black. But yeah, I just thought this would be a fun video to make just for like a hypothetical situation. Obviously, I'm happy that the series didn't end up like this and that Kirito is a hero. But yeah, anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. That's all I got. Peace.